to The Medical Conspiracy with Dr. Carpenter.
Good afternoon and welcome back. We are here again with you, and the surprise is that for this special transmission of the show, we have Barbara back.
Yay, Barbara's back.
Yeah, and we're glad to have her back, but this is only for this week unless she gets a donation to pay for an internet service that she cannot cover. So we need to do something. I'm proposing and I'm starting something right off, but you want to do the station identification first, don't you?
Station identification, what's that? Oh, you mean
What's
Orion Talk Radio and Micro 1650 in Tonawanda, New York, the big shot of the milliwatt, and let's not forget news and views beyond the mainstream. And everybody listening on Spreaker.com, and everybody listening on the TuneIn app, and on TalkStreamLive.com and TalkSuperstation.com.
I think we covered everybody, and I'm glad you're all here, and I'm glad you're listening to us, and this is something really important, because I present things to you, but I needed to have the support of Barbara that confirm things that are standard procedure by the crooks in government, and we need her to present her angle and what she knows about it. And this is not something that everybody knows. She has been, unfortunately for her, an insider, so she can inform you and tell you, but she has been, like we have, been totally destroyed and attacked, and we need to help. There is need of help. And so what I am saying is, I know that she is getting a $50 donation this week for her, toward her internet phone connection. The total is only $115, so it's not that big of a deal. She's getting the $50. We need 65 more. Come on, guys, out there, put out something. Help Barbara, and if you can see in your heart to put more, that would be nice, because she has other expenses that she cannot cover. And we want her on this show to help us, to help my efforts to help everybody, which is to help everybody. So I am happy to say she already has a good start, but we need the remainder. And if you can put more, that'll be great, because she has other bills that she can't cover. So she's really in a position she should never have been put in. And this is, I read this week, they said, oh, this is the 100 years of the American Cancer Society. You know all the money the American Cancer Society is getting. Oh, 100 years of great accomplishment. Really, what are they? You tell me what accomplishments, not to mention, of course, the Common Foundation and all the millions that the Common Foundation rakes in for just supporting the system and maintaining the status quo. But also now the American Cancer Society. And do you know that the American Cancer Society claims to have the right to the word cancer? How are we allowing this?
Mm-hmm. They own the word.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. And then we're going to get about owning and patent and things later down the line of the show. But the people that are trying to wake you up and give you proper information are put in a position that they are pushed out of society and cannot support themselves. So you have to help. Without your help, nothing is going to be solved. The information is not going to be put out. The only information you're going to get is through the media that is controlled by the government. So to have proper information so you can make up your mind, you can understand what's going on, and you can fight what's wrong in our system, is hearing people like Barbara, me, and others, the ones that are not controlled opposition, because unfortunately there are a lot of other group, organization, and show that are controlled opposition, and they appear to give you some right information, but that's a phony front to bring you with the real agenda, to bring you in and then feed you with the real agenda, which is not a correct set of information. Is not any different than the standard media government control. So the people like Barbara are the ones that can help, but that's why she's put, like we are, in a position not to make a living. So you have to be pushed out of society and you cannot function. So please keep that in mind. Go to her website. What is it? Barbara Hartwell versus CIA? What is it?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Carpenter. It's Barbara Hartwell versus CIA, and anybody can just put that into a search and it'll come right up. Yeah, I have to tell you that, I have the final disconnect notice. They canceled my car insurance earlier this month. Luckily, I was able to be reinstated, but not without a penalty. The priest from my church had to fill up the gas tank for me yesterday. I went into his office crying. I had no gas. It was almost empty. Yeah. I mean, this is my situation. I'm not trying to whine about it, but you know what it is, Dr. Carpenter, because it's happened to you. They will drive you into complete, ruin and destitution. And I'm very sorry that I was not able to appear on the last couple of shows, but I have not been well, and I was happy to be invited today, even though I wasn't planning on it. And thank you for your efforts to try to raise some donations for me, because I would like to continue to be on this program. I don't want to lose my internet connection. I think
what is the deadline? The final?
I have probably about another week or so. Like beginning of next month. That I could probably hang on till then.
Okay, so that's what needed. You're getting 50, and then please, guys, it's not that much. 6 people putting $10. I mean, really? Come on, help. 7 people and another one putting 5. I mean, come on, it's nothing. Get to it. Help her and actually help her with others. She can continue having gas in her car. I mean, come on, it's no gigantic donation. We're not talking about what people are giving to the Common Foundation. We're not talking about what people are giving to the Cancer Society. We're talking about minors so she can continue on. I mean, this is ridiculous. Don't turn your head and put it under the sand like the problem doesn't exist and is a phony. It's not. It's a serious problem. And we need to have it on the show because of all the things that are going on. Some outrageous things have happened starting last week and they're continuing on. And it's just not something that we should accept. We should fight all of this. And we are here to present it to you. And we have Barbara to explain why this fits in the usual pattern in the plans that the government has. And people with the government is bought and paid for by special
we know that they're completely out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, the government is not of the people, by the people, for the people, and there are so few of us out there that are not bought and paid for. We're not the controlled opposition. Like Alex Jones and Mike Adams and
Mike Adams. We're going to get on Mike Adams.
All of them, okay?
Yeah.
Almost all of them. These people have huge I call them commercial websites. It's like sell, sell, sell. Everything that they're doing is angled toward selling, okay? And you can't trust information when they have something to sell. I'm not saying that everybody who has something to sell, but most often they're there because they want to sell you something, and it's not the truth.
Some cases, they're not really selling what appears to be a real sale pitch in a product. They're selling you brainwashing.
Well, exactly, Dr. Carpenter.
It's also another sell procedure.
You know what?
Yeah.
When you get to the point where you have almost nothing left to lose, and certainly that's where I am, and I'm pretty sure that's where you are too. We've lost almost everything, and why would we be continuing to try to do this? What's in it for us? What?
Nothing. other than the fact that we cannot be shut down. They wanted to close us down, and they have been wanting to silence me since the show started. We're talking about for years.
Well, speaking of silencing somebody, Barbara, when we, well, you remember this just about an hour ago when we were on the phone. What kept happening?
Oh, well, they were interfering. They were sabotaging the phone lines. Now, I have to tell you, this is something that's been going on for, decades with me. And this is before we even had the Internet, where people were on the Internet. Just a regular landline phone.
But those are easier to.
Yeah, they'll come on the line, and they have all this gadgetry, all these little high-tech they're like juvenile delinquents is what they're like. They'll hit these little buttons, and you'll hear squealing noises and shrieks and beeps and all that stuff. They put echo chambers on the phone. Well, today, they just kept cutting me and Randy off. We were just talking on a regular phone. I think he was using a cell, and I was using a regular, digital phone. And they were on the lines. They would cut off as soon as we started talking about something that they didn't like. Okay, we were talking about Angelina Jolie, actually.
Yeah. They don't like that because that's a big propaganda effort.
Well, sure it is.
Who knows how much money she's getting out of this?
Fish lips.
Yeah, a frog. I call her frog face. I don't know how anybody can think that woman is beautiful. I mean, she's obviously had all this tampering plastic surgery or whatever.
Well, right, like I said, she can actually get some of the spare tissue harvested from her lips and make a set of implants. Now that this is happening.
That's not what they get it from, for the implants. But, okay.
No, it's just bizarre, though. I mean, you look at the standards of what's considered to be beautiful. I mean, when I think of a beautiful person, a man or a woman, I think of, like, the Renaissance. The artist.
But it cannot be just looks, okay? The beautiful person cannot be, it's part of it, but it cannot be just that. And in her case...
Ugly is as ugly does.
She's very photogenic with all the plastic surgery she has had. She is very photogenic, but when she's not in the right setup, I saw a picture they took of her when she went as ambassador of some kind of... What is this she an ambassador of?
She's a member. She was recruited into the CFR, the huge New World Order conglomerate, where they groom celebrities. They're all from the government.
That's another thing, but officially, this is not. This was official, and she was the ambassador for something about...
Oh, yes, I remember that. I can't remember what it was. It was something to do with...
The name, but...
To do with
children. Poor children, poor countries, something kind of... I don't know.
Another propaganda... it's a publicity propaganda operation because they get somebody like this, and people in this country, it amazes me. Some people are just so brainwashed and so just plain stupid that they look at somebody like this. Oh, they worship, they idolize this woman, Angelina Jolie. She's a movie star, a celebrity. Oh, and then the next
Homewrecker.
Yeah. The next thing you know, guess what? Because they worship, they idolize, it's idolatry, they idolize this woman. So she steps forward as a representative of propaganda for the government, and everybody eats it up, and that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yep.
That's why they picked her. Because they realized that a lot of people that are starting to doubt what is going on and what is being done in Kansas. So what do? They needed some major propaganda, and that's what they did. They brought her in, and of course, I talked about it last week. I don't know if you heard the recording because you were having problem with the computer, but I talked about last week, and what it was is just she's either a complete idiot or she's crazy. But of course, I was far off the field because it's neither. Okay?
If I had to choose, I would say there's more unbalanced psychopathology than being stupid. I don't think she's stupid.
She's manipulating and she's conniving, and that is never a sign of intelligence, in my opinion.
No.
But my stand changed when Mike Adams jumped in. Okay.
Okay.
And
well, Dr. Carpenter, before we get into that, let me just say, look, she's a puppet, just like all of them. She's a puppet. She's a pawn. She's somebody that's being used for whatever her talents or her looks or whatever she has, okay? She's something to be sold to the public so that they can be propagandized to do what these government New World Order institutions want people to do and believe. That's all.
Yeah, but I think she's a lot worse than that. That's my opinion.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. She's obviously got no scruples.
Yeah, she doesn't have any scruples, so I expect the situation is a lot worse, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. I think the situation is a lot worse than what people seem to think. Once Mike Adams jumped in, that's what the alarm bells went on. Because you know how Mike Adams is. It gives you misinformation. What he does is, and you know this, you have talked about this before, this is the standard method. First, it gets your attention by telling you something that is correct, is true. So that's how we started, by saying people are being duped. They're trying to convince women that the freedom and women liberation involves getting butchered, having anything that makes her a woman.
Hey, in the 60s, it was burn your bra. Now it's cut off your boobs.
Yeah, and remove your ovary.
Man.
It's unbelievable. It truly
okay, it's not just removing the breast, and now it's also adding the ovary to it. And how can that go, the idea against abortion? The two don't match, okay?
Now, Dr. Carpenter, did you talk last week? Because I was not able to hear the show. I couldn't get it on the line. I tried.
Last week, go ahead.
So maybe you could just fill me in on what you did talk about, because I'm not sure.
Well, I talked about different other things that were not related, but as far as her case, I talked about how I really thought, we even gave her the Pazzo Award because we think she's totally crazy to do something like this, and then she's saying she's going back to have her ovary removed. So I thought somebody had to be not just stupid, somebody has to be totally crazy to even think of doing something like this, when on the chance that she might, maybe down the line, get breast cancer. And I also discussed the issue of the what is it called? CA1?
BRCA1.
BRCA1? Okay, I also discussed that. And what I said about it, which should put an alert sign on everybody's mind. What I said about it is I researched this BRCA 1 and 2. Those are genes that their ability are help maintain the stability of cells' DNA. They help maintain the stability and help prevent, get this, uncontrolled growth, which means they are there to help prevent cancer, breast cancer. But this is not what they tell you. They say if you have those genes, you get breast cancer. No, those genes are present in most people. Okay? They are part of, and they serve the purpose of preventing cancer, the formation of cancer.
What is it they're doing, Dr. Carpenter?
But what they're saying is they could mutate. These genes could mutate, and if they mutate, they are connected, they assume anyway, to the development of hereditary breast cancer. What? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
Idiotic, Dr. Carpenter.
But that's what there is, the real phrase. And now, what they're saying to the public is the public believes that if they have those genes, BRCA1 and 2, okay, if they have those, they're going to get breast cancer. No. That's not what they are. Only if they mutate. So are you saying that the mutation is hereditary? That's impossible, because the mutation
happens... It's just a hypothetical. It's a hypothetical. It has no basis in fact.
No, it has no fact other that it happened. But what I'm saying is when you're talking mutation, a mutation always happens under certain circumstances. It's not hereditary. A mutation cannot be hereditary.
And cutting them off doesn't stop the breast cancer.
No, the breast cancer will still grow. If you're going to get breast cancer, you're going to get it anyway. Oh, but you get it removed, the chance of getting breast cancer is 50-50. You know what? Every day of our lives is 50-50 chance on anything. Surviving, being able to function, being able to think. Everything is 50-50. That is the neutral position. Position of neutrality is you got a 50-50 chance on everything. So telling them you have a 50-50 chance after having your breast removed, you have a 50-50 chance to get breast cancer, you had it in the first place. You didn't need to have your breast removed.
Okay, Dr. Carpenter, you were speaking before the program about the possibility, and I agree that this could be a possibility, because it's been reported that she actually did this, had this surgery. But
okay.
what if you said this is just a publicity stunt?
Yeah, and when
people believe she has done this, when in fact it's only
I don't believe she has. And Mike Adams' article convinced me more of that. Because what does Mike Adams do? He starts introducing this, and then it says, okay, but she is connected with the drug company that wants a patent on the gene. And I'm going to go over this one in a minute, but let me finish this statement. It says she has been coached on what to say, and so has been Brad Pitt being coached. And they're actors. They can be easily coached in saying certain things and appear convincing because they are professional actors. Okay? They make a living by pretending to be something else or somebody else and doing a different life, going to a different life. That's their profession. So they are perfect and they can convince the public. And basically what they're saying is a sign of bravery first. No, being maimed and agreeing to be maimed is not a sound of bravery. It's a sound of hopeless stupidity.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
Listening to The Medical Conspiracy with Dr. Carpenter.
Okay, we were cut off. We just didn't plan it correctly, and we were cut off by the break. So you missed some of the things we were saying that you couldn't hear. We were talking about it, but you couldn't hear. And what it was on the line of what Angelina Jolie is doing and what she is saying. And my point of view is, since the introduction of the point of view of Mike Adams, knowing what Mike Adams is and what he does, that got me into more suspicion on what is going on. And the point here is, can we believe any of this? I think not. And why? She and her husband were coached to say certain things, just that like actors are coached by the director to say certain things in a certain way and being believable in what they say, be convincing in the part. What makes a good actor is the person that is convincing. So they know how to lie and they know how to appear a totally different person with different beliefs and with different opinion in a different set of circumstances. That's their job. That's what they make a living with. And they get pretty good, so people are convinced. They are convincing, and the people are actually convinced. I heard my father many times saying years ago, he was saying, man, that guy's a really good actor because you could really believe that that's what was going on. So how they do it, keep pretending to be somebody else in a different situation and be coached to say the right thing, have the right facial expression, and show the right emotion. I don't know. But these are actors, so they do it professionally. So can you believe what they're saying about their private life? In my opinion, absolutely not. And then Barbara came in and was discussing how a spy is a similar. So go ahead. What we discussed before.
Yes, Dr. Carpenter. Yeah, you have to remember that, again, these particular people, they are groomed. They're not just actors. They are something more than that. Okay, again, we can bring up that Angelina Jolie was recruited into CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, and they're using these people not just as actors, but they're using them as propagandists, all right? And one of the major functions of CIA, which I think a lot of people don't know, people think, oh, they're a spy organization. They gather intelligence. Well, yes, that's true. But equally important to them, in fact, more so, is propaganda. They own, more than any other intelligence organization. If you want to look into intelligence gathering, look at the NSA. That's far, far more proficient than CIA, okay? CIA is all about propaganda. They own a lot of journalists, and including, I believe, Alex Jones. And what they do is when they get hold of somebody, now I'm not saying specifically CIA, I'm just drawing a parallel. Okay, but my point is that there's a parallel between these propaganda spouting actors, okay, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, and spies, because we were all taught to act. You had to be taught to act. You had to be, taught to lie. Of course you have to lie, okay? These people don't tell the truth. They have an agenda, all right? So if they're going to use somebody and they're going to groom somebody, especially with these two, okay, we also got cut off when I was talking about the spy movies, like Spy Games with Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. Okay, yeah. That's an example. And then we had, just let me have some water. We had talked about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Remember we talked about that movie? Yeah. And it was horrible. It was a husband and wife. And neither one of them evidently knew that the other one was working for some spy organization or spy ring.
Not initially, no.
They were trying to kill each other.
What about going back to the James Bond movies? Do you think there was an element of CIA involved in making those?
Yes, of course. You know,
well, I don't know, because the James Bond movies always show like the real intelligent and capable people are the British, but the CIA are stupid. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, yes, but you know what, though? The point that I'm trying to make here is that these people are not just actors. They are groomed and they are being utilized far more than that, okay? And this is a perfect example of you know, just how much they are pawns and they're following a script. So therefore,
which they can do because they are trained actors.
Exactly. Yeah. And your point that you said that you suspected that perhaps Angelina Jolie had not actually had her breasts lopped off.
I don't think so.
Because she said it. That would make perfect sense. Because as long as people will believe she did it, that's all they care. Do you believe it? And if you believe it and you idolize this woman, you too could go and get your breasts lopped off. That's the point.
Right. And to me, it goes with the fact that they didn't say when she was going in. It wasn't advertised when she was going in for surgery. They said it later. Oh, she has had this surgery. And when she recovered from this one, she's going to go for having her ovary removed. So to be on the safe side and never get breast or ovarian cancer again. So to me, It was not advertised, oh, she's going to do this, and advertised when she went in for the operation. No, they're saying now that she had. All you need is a doctor that will take money for saying, oh, yes, I did it. And that's all you need. And then she's an actor. She can convince you of anything. And she probably got paid pretty good money from the company that wants the patent right to the BRCA 1 and 2.
Well, exactly, Dr. Carpenter. I don't think most people can comprehend how big a web of lies that this really is. Just all of them. I'm talking about the medical mafia, the big pharma, all the
know.
And the actors. They're all in it together. They're all in it together. It's all just like gangland crime.
Oh, they're just the actors are just paid. It's another job. Okay, and I want to point out something that I know has been going on, and people think, oh, no, she's so great. Susan Summers, okay? She is getting paid to advertise for Brzezinski and all these other alternative practitioners, big money alternative practitioners. That's all it is. She's being paid. And even the book,
what's her story, Dr. Carpenter? I don't really know much about it.
Well, the thing about Susan Summers was that she kept a secret, but she had breast cancer. And she went in for, she had the lump removed, she had a lumpectomy, and then she had radiation, but she refused chemo. Now, when she went for radiation, then people were saying that she went in to get her breast enhanced and increased in size, a breast surgery, and they were criticizing her because she is one that always was saying, health, food nut, that type of health supplements and health food nut. That's what I call it. And so they say that's hypocritical to go to get a breast implant. And so she got upset and said, no, I didn't go for a breast implant. I actually had breast surgery because I had breast cancer. But then it became in the open and public, and she said, I am not having chemo. So everybody jumped on her. And she said she went for Iscador. And Iscador is an extract of mistletoe, so it's pretty poisonous too. So it's natural, but it's still chemo. Anyway, but that she became, people thought she was an advocate of alternative treatment, and everybody looked at her as somebody like it was a guru, knowledgeable on the subject, and could guide them. And she is being paid by all these alternative practitioners. She's done a lot of work for Brzezinski, for Gonzalez in New York, all these people. She wrote the book listing all these names. She actually advertised for the attorney of Brzezinski, who, the attorney too, not just Brzezinski, the attorney too is a crook and he's a liar. It's disgusting, like all attorneys. Disgusting person.
So she's a propagandist, you're saying?
Yes, that's why she's a paid propagandist. And even the books she writes, you think she writes books? No, they write it for her and they just paste their name there. Okay? So and they
a
think
shill then. Just another shill.
Absolutely, that's what she is. And I guess they feel that this establishment has to have one too that is really in the public eye, and that's why they went for Angelina Jolie. I don't know how good of a move that was, because a lot of people dislike us tremendously as a home wrecker. Okay? So I don't know, but that's what they got. It's also depend who would do it. And she seems to be such an opportunist that would be the one to do it. Yeah. Brad Pitt, I don't know. He's just a pretty disgusting person, in my opinion.
Yes.
Well,
I have no respect whatsoever
for the actor.
For any of these people.
Okay, listen, let me tell you something. I disliked John Wayne. I didn't like him because it was, even in the movie, with this disgusting chauvinist and just this attitude I did not like. But I gotta say something about him. When he was still alive, he was approached to run for president. And he said, are you kidding? Who will vote for an actor as president? Yeah, well, that was before those days. But that his attitude. He said, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. And see, I think that's the only good, respectable thing he did. I mean, what kind of an idiot vote for an actor? And we know that apparently the majority of the country did. I don't know if that was true or it was just fake, the numbers as usual, who knows. But apparently...
But they're all actors, Dr. Carpenter, especially politicians. Anybody who doesn't believe that a politician is an actor,
sure,
needs to
when they
have their
campaign,
head
they're lying through their teeth.
Of course they are.
Attorney are all lying through their teeth. The FDA, they're all lying, and they're all actors. It's just disgusting.
Like Jeremy Bain. Why don't you tell us the Jeremy Bain story again?
Yeah, he was planning to come and close down Lismed Inc., which he legally could not do, and he was trying to do it anyway. So what happened? He communicated with me through email, pretended to be somebody whose aunt had... No, he didn't say breast cancer. What did he say? I think he said it was melanoma. I don't know, so many things have happened since then.
But he lied, though.
He lied about this whole thing about his aunt. And then...
The ruse that went on for over a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, more than a year. And then I said, well, I need to talk to the patient. And somehow this woman showed up and appeared and called me on the phone to discuss the issue. So another liar. Okay? That's just disgusting. Lying.
These people are backed, Dr. Carpenter. Let's remind people. These people, they're two liars. But these people have the full support and backup of the Department of Justice. Justice?
Yes. Yeah, what justice?
What justice?
I know.
The Department of Liars.
The Department of Crooks. Opportunists. Yeah, and so what makes people think that this story that is so convenient for the drug company, the company is called actually Myriad Genetics, and the call symbol is MYGN, Myriad Genetics. They want Congress to approve because obviously you don't patent genes, and they want the Congress to allow for the patent. Okay? Now, let me ask you something. How can you patent something that is in nature? You can't. So they found this gene, and I'm starting to think, does it really exist anyway? I wonder. Okay?
Well, I doubt. No, Dr. Carpenter.
No, but at this point, no. But at this point, I doubt everything. But say this gene actually happened. You cannot patent. Can you patent a liver?
No.
Can you patent somebody's chromosomes? No, you cannot do that. So how could you possibly patent the genes that is happening is in people? It's not only restricted to some people that have cancer. See, that's not it. A lot of people have it. But in some cases, it can mutate and it can cause cancer. This sounds like the story of closing down the compound pharmacy. They haven't done anything. They haven't hurt anybody, but they could. So we closed the compounding pharmacy because they're too much of an inconvenience to big pharma. That's why. Okay? It's the same story. So this supposedly existent gene, they want to patent it. No, you cannot. Can you patent somebody's foot? Man, the foot is big.
Well, they could grow a human ear on a mouse. They've already done these kind of voodoo science. Can they patent that? I don't know.
No, they can't. And even if they grow human ear on a mouse, I can tell you something. That can stay there as long as they give him anti-rejection drugs. But once they stuff that, the ears falls off, shriveled up.
That's a monster, Dr. Carpenter. We're talking about
it's a
chimera. It's horrible.
No, because it's a fake. It cannot exist unless the creature is maintained on drugs. And when you do that, they're going to die from those drugs anyway, so it cannot continue on. I mean, they do that. I don't know why, but
it's appalling. It's transhumanism is what it is. I mean, and it's absolutely appalling.
What it is another excuse to get money for research.
Yes. To torture more people and more animals and make more money.
I know. It's just disgusting. But going back, and all of this factor put together, plus what you were saying about the movie. And by the way, the movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I found that movie disgusting for the background and the world I came from. Family is sacred. Okay?
And I agree with you, Dr. Carpenter.
You cannot even begin to conceive somebody that is supposed to be a family and they're trying to connive against
plotting to kill their spouse.
Just unbelievable. And then at the same time saying, acting loving and saying how much to love. And so a person that can act and do that is just a human reject. It should not be allowed in society. That's my view. Okay? Go back. But the actors serve a purpose of entertainment, and even that is giving delusional information to the public and keep them brainwashed and numbed, because that way they will follow the system. Acting,
Well, yes, Dr. Carpenter, it promotes complacency. They want people to be fat and happy, sitting on a couch, opening a can of beer and a bag of potato chips, and live in la-la land. Then they can do whatever they want.
And get sick, so they go to doctors.
Yeah, and get away with it. Yep.
Right. But what I'm saying is, so a person or two people in this case, because it's her and her husband, no, they're not even married. So, well, they've been living together so long that makes them a couple. But anyway, that's another issue that I just disagree totally with, but nobody cares. Anyway. So how can you believe that anything this woman says is the truth? That's my question. Combined with the comments of Mike Adams, and Mike Adams pushing that also say, oh, she's doing this, and he presented on the never get.
But he's the controlled opposition. Mike Adams, along with Alex Jones and that whole contingent,
you're breaking up.
Controlled opposition. They lie.
They lie. They all lie. And that's why when Mike Adams picked that up, I started, oh, my gosh, And that's when I came. It's not that she's stupid. It's not that she's crazy. It's not that she is such a patsy, a plastic surgeon that agreed to anything. No, it's not. The whole thing is a lie. I don't see how a woman that has at least a little bit of functioning brain would even agree to that, especially when especially when she makes a living on her looks, okay? Because on top of everything else, she's not that good of an actress. He is a good actor, but she's not.
No, I agree. She looks like a frog. Randy and I were talking about that earlier. To me, she looks like a frog.
Because the legs are so skinny?
With those lips.
That's a carp. The fish, the carp.
But I think of a frog every time I see her face. I don't know why.
I think of a carp, because it's really stupid. But still, yeah. So obviously there is a certain amount of stupidity, but because she's in a lot of other organizations that show off, you'll see how great I am, I put money in this, I champion this, helping the children in poor countries, all this garbage, okay? I think she's lying. I think it's an absolute lie, and she would not have done that to her body. It's just an absolute lie. That's my opinion, okay? And I wish people would stop and think about that possibility. It is a very strong possibility. Coached on what to say, coached on what to do, then if it is something that you actually believed in and wanted to do it and you were convinced of it, then you wouldn't have to be coached, because it's coming from the heart, and that is not. Okay?
Well, yes, these people have, in my opinion, they've made a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
When you shake hands with the devil, you're halfway to hell. That's what I feel.
I think they already made the deal with the devil, because to make it in show business, that's pretty much what you do. So it's such a corrupt world. It's pretty much what you do. So they are already there. And so this is one more. No big deal. Lying to women and forcing women into something they should never do. But then Mike Adams comes in with his way of thinking and his things. And what happens? He goes on how she misrepresents the world, and he's all done in favor of this.
Got about 30 seconds.
Okay, perfect timing. Perfect timing for the drug company, because they're trying this company, I don't even know if they make drugs, it's just a bio research company, I don't know, Myriad Genetics, okay? What happens is the break is coming up, that's what happens. With actually the end of the first hour.
Don't touch that mouse. The medical conspiracy will return in just a moment.